Hello and welcome, Snake here. Today I made a list of units you should absolutely never recruit for each faction. This list contains units I mostly, for units I hate, I never recruit, I don't find any reason to play with, so you might learn something, but of course there is a chance you will disagree with some of them, because some of them are not that bad, but I still hate them. And of course, if you have anything to counter, please let me know in a comment. If you like stuff like this, absolutely subscribe, you can help me a lot, but also be aware that from time to time I post a video about zombie games. Not often, but definitely I focus primarily on Total War Warhammer and will focus on Total War Warhammer 40,000 when it happens. For now, without more interruption, let's go. Oh, this is gonna sound brutal, but for Beastmen I would say do not recruit Cygor. And Cygor is... I wish they were better, okay? I wish, but they're not. Their accuracy is... oh my god, they're terrible. In melee, they're not really performing well, and Beastmen do have option to summon a Cygor from spells, from item that you can purchase. Basically, it's not really needed. Maybe when CA will ever add a siege rework, you will need a siege attacker, you know, wall breaker or something. Then there is a chance you might need him. But outside of that, absolutely, you will fine with him. Of course, you could also not recruit the Razor, the basic infantry, the Ungor Spearmen, okay? They're really trash, and I would recruit archers all the way, because they're stocking anyway. So recruit archers, and yeah, you can recruit them literally anywhere. But Cygor is definitely more important, because it costs so much dread to increase capacity. So the one you get for free at the start, it's fine. But outside of that, wasting dread on Cygor. For Bretonnia, Shocker, the Grail Relic. Oh my god. I know it's supposed to have a purpose. Maybe on paper it looks great. Maybe on tabletop it looks great. But in Total War Warhammer, Grail Relic offers Icon of Devotion. It gives leadership and melee attack for all allies. And it's good on paper for infantry, but basic knight offers pretty much the same, because, okay, they don't get melee attack, but they get leadership +8, and from basic, any kind of knight. And that's what you should focus on, because leadership is the thing that really breaks infantry. So the peasant mob will be much more useful than Grail Relic, because it has 3k life. If you go with emergency army that you want to use to defend, then maybe, but that's about it. Don't even bother, just get whatever. I mean, any kind of knight will outperform Grail Relic and will buff you. Yeah, it will give you something, because they cannot fight. They are just useless, sadly. For Chaos Dwarfs, I wasn't sure. First, my thought was Hobgoblin on Wolf Raiders. Yeah, they suck. But with Gordas Buckstubber, they do have some potential. Then I thought, maybe the Labor Goblins. After all, they're shit. And they are. But the price is something that absolutely makes, you know, them worth, because they barely cost anything. So this is pretty much the meat. Of course, the laborers, orcs, will do better in terms of combat. But if you're looking just whatever, they are okay at best. But I barely use them. So what's the unit I would never recruit because it's not really good? And unfortunately, it's Cathay Destroyer. I'm still trying to make them like usable. They look awesome. It's a shame they are getting so, you know, demolished from literally anything because their animation is weird. It's such a shame because I want them to work and I'll try to make them work. But until that, yeah, Cathay Destroyer is something I would not recruit because extending the capacity will cost you a lot, and for that cost you will have a better army. Sadly, but you will. Nonetheless, the look is insane. For Dark Elves, my first thought were Harpies. Harpies are really crap, but then I realized for Rakaf, Harpies can cost 0. And when something costs 0, it cannot be that bad because you can get it for free, pretty much the upkeep. And over the years, I found usefulness for them from time to time. So what's the unit I would say never recruit? And I know it can be useful for multiplayer, but for campaign, I would say do not ever bother with Dark Riders, all the variants, with the shields and the crossbows. And you say, oh, crossbow, or no. Dark Riders with crossbow miss so much shots. It's pointless to even bother with them. Really. What the hell? Why it disappears so fast? God damn it.
Dark Riders,
merciless warriors. So Dark Riders with crossbows. Yeah, I know they have a two projectiles, blah blah blah. It's on paper, it looks good, but shades will do much better. Their only benefit in terms of all of them is speed. But combat potential is barely existing, and Dark Elves have just so much better options. Really. Dark Elves have so much better options. Even basic crossbows will do way better than these guys. If you're looking early stages of a unit that can run around and kite some of the units, then maybe. But for that I use heroes and lords. So this is not really performing that well, and I would recruit even Harpies over these guys, because Harpies are better to kite units, especially the range one, because a range AI will most likely follow the flying unit over the cavalry. So you can kite it through the woods and literally, and they are much safer because they're in the air. So Dark Riders, in my eyes, still suck very hard. I couldn't decide what's the unit I'd never recruit for Dwarfs, and these guys are definitely up there. Dwarf Warriors' great weapons are something I never use, because they don't do that much great of a job. The regular Dwarf Warriors are doing so much better job. They last much longer in combat, and I can use Rune Wrath and Ruin, Rune of Spite, range units, literally anything. And these guys are not that good. But they have more use than I sometimes think. So the unit I would never recruit are, of course, the Brimstone Gyrocopters. I made an army full of gyrocopters. The brimstone gun. There is a video on my channel if you're looking for. And they're supposed to be way better. The fire's supposed to be way better than it is. And my biggest criticism might be the ammunition. Because if they double the amount of ammo, that would do way better. But it's still super micro intensive because it doesn't do the damage that you wish for. Compared to like Iron Drakes, yeah, it's really bad. And it's frustrating, especially if you have multiple. It's not doing that well. If you compare that to like Flamer of Tzeentch, and if you stack Flamer of Tzeentch on a couple of them and they shoot the same target, the target disappears. When you use Iron Drakes, it's pretty much the same. I think it's about the angle, collision, everything. When the fire shoots in a straight line, it burns the ground, while when it shoots from above, it's something here. But also, gyrocopters ammunition, it's 15 base. Terrible. If it was like 24 base at least, it could be useful. It's shocking because even after all the nerfs that gyrocopter received from CA, because after the buffs they made and made them incredible, they nerfed them like 3 times. 2-3 times at least. And they're still better than these guys. With all the cheeses and everything, these guys are still behind. It's the range, it's the ammunition. Nah. So yeah, I wouldn't bother with Brimstone Gun, unfortunately. As for the Empire, I thought Flagellant would be something I don't even bother to recruit, and yeah, that's correct. But they do have some use in Volkmar campaign, so they're not that bad as I always believed. Despite being naked, they dish damage, they're useful. However, when I think about what unit I would never recruit, it's obviously from the perspective of expensive units, might be these guys. A Blazing Suns, Knights. They look awesome, okay? Don't get me wrong. The burning lances, everything. Oh my god, that's so awesome. The Knights of Blazing Sun, their only like gimmick is fire attack. They have anti-infantry. How about no? They have base weapon damage and some armor piercing, and it's just not that good. And in order to work, yeah, you do need to do much more hassle than normal. And I know at least any other cavalry in Empire roster that will perform superior. And yes, it's a shock cavalry. It has high charge bonus, but charge bonus doesn't help you if you suck at fighting. And fire resistance is quite popular, especially for Empire enemies. They do have some fire if you go for like Chaos Dwarfs. These guys are fucking useless. 1, because they barely have any armor piercing, and 2, because they have a flaming attack. And flaming attack is detrimental in this case. So it's absolutely useless. And yeah, you could perhaps do something with them when you build special landmarks, if you cook some extra stuff, but it's so much work. Where you can do it the same. The Black Rose Knights are superior compared to these. And they're... Yeah, they're just... No. Blazing Sun Knights are useless. And I would never recruit them over even... I remember Legend said the swordsman. The basic swordsman I find much more useful for them than the Knights of the Blazing Sun. So yeah, don't bother to recruit them. Any other knight, any other cavalry from Empire will do just so much better. For the Grand Cathay, there is only few picks I wouldn't bother with. Sky Lantern is something I would use because I'm a different man. But I did make an army full of Skyjunks. It wasn't the best, but it did something. It wasn't that terrible as I expected. But for them to work, you need to go versus like very specific army, and it's not always like that. So it's definitely borderline of being not recruitable. At least for me. But the unit I literally never recruit because I don't find usefulness in it is none other. Jesus. Then Wujing Compass. The Wujing Compass is really, really slow. I feel like this is like wasted slot. Because if I want to have a Wujing Compass for its abilities to, you know, get the power recharge, I will get a hero. I will get the hero. Astromancer will do just fine. Bounce spells? Okay. Bounce spells are okay. But it's not enough. It's not enough. When it comes into combat, it will die quick. I mean, not as quick as Grail Relic, but it will not perform. It looks nice, but Wujing Compass is a mount for Astromancer, and getting Astromancers is so easy. It's so easy, so this is absolute waste of a slot. I would never recruit it. Maybe in PvP it does matter. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, see these guys? Yeah, they're shooting for some time, and it's not really that good. But you know, the Sky Lantern perform well when you tell to attack a single entity unit. It will do way better when you tell the single you know, entity to shoot. Single entity will have a harder time. Of course, you need to fly closer. Again, borderline not recruitable. Oh my god, their accuracy is also here. It has, yeah. But Wujing Compass is worse in my eyes. But I might be wrong, you might see it different. As for the Greenskins, it's super easy. Any kind of Wolf Rider. Either the Archer or regular, both sucks in my eyes. Maybe for PvP they will do something, but for campaign, I feel like there is so many slots that are just so much better. I don't know what's the worst, their attack or leadership or what, but they just don't do it. They just don't perform that well, and it's complete waste of your time to even bother with them. As for the High Elves, well, it's obvious. As you may know, there is a light variant of a unit that is literally recruitable everywhere. And these are, of course, the archers with light armor. The only difference with these units than regular archers is that they have light armor. And that's it. And it's just a little bit of armor. Of course, for that armor, you pay more. So you pay more, and you get the same unit. That is just not worth getting. Especially that for this you need a building, while the tier 0 archers are recruitable everywhere. So, in my ranking video of a tier units, I said these guys are okay, because they are. But in terms of recruitable, nah, no point. A little bit more armor, the cost is higher, upkeep is higher, no point. Better getting, you know, for like 10 regular archers, compared to 10 Ds, you get like 12? No, not 12, maybe 11 or 12 regular archers, so you get a little bit more compared to these in the terms of cost efficiency. So, nah, skip those entirely, you'll be fine. As for the Khorne, it's obviously one thing and one thing only. Marauders of Khorne. Oh my god, they're so bad. Because, for some strange reason, you get tier 0 Chaos Warriors of Khorne, while Marauders required a building. It makes 0 sense. The tier 0 should be Marauders, but for some reason we got it the opposite. So these guys are obsolete. Absolutely obsolete. I'd say the dual weapons could also suck, because they're also not that, you know, good. But they still have some use compared to Marauders. Chaos Warriors of Khorne are superior compared to these guys. So I have no idea why they are like this. And of course, if you have a money problem, then clearly you're not fighting enough. As Khorne, you need to fight a lot and just spam the F out of good units rather than getting crap unit. It's better invest more money into better unit that will carry you through multiple battles rather than trash that will die within 1-2 turn battles max. Don't even bother. Chaos Warriors are superior in stats, combat efficiency, everything is just better. Of course, the price is higher, but as Khorne, you don't look at the upkeep. All you do is the combat efficiency, and that's pretty much it. When it comes to Kislev, I couldn't decide because it all matters which legendary lord pick. When you play Mother Ostankya, I wouldn't bother with bats or the hatchlings of spiderlings. You don't have access to typical corsairs and everything right from the start. So it's not obvious. And these guys are underperforming. Anything above these will just be better. Dervishes are another unit I freaking hate. They perform 0 value to combat. It's the same case of Dark Elves. They're fast. That's about it. But by our blood gives them edge over Dark Elves riders, because despite when they're broken, they still last some time. And of course there is one extra unit, the heavy worslets. The difference is like with the high elves, you get more armor, so they are a little bit heavier. In terms of combat potential, it's the same. So these units I wouldn't bother with the Kislev roster, because what for? For Lizardmen, it's obvious. It's the first unit you have available, and it's Skin Cohort. Just like that, because there is a variant skin cohort with javelins. So they are pretty much the same in terms of combat, but they have a range attack. Ammunition is only 3, but that's enough to dish out crazy amount of damage compared to what they are available. See, stats are the same. The only difference is that missile attack, and it's massive, especially in a defense. You can recruit. Yeah, they will. The javelins will cost a little bit more, but in terms of combat potential, it's so much better, because before anything hits these guys, they will manage to shoot once or twice at least. And when something charge in, the back line will still shoot. The front line won't, but the back line will still shoot. So overall, you will get your value immediately. And if it's not like, if it's for terms of attack, it's even better, because you can attack with the missiles. It's really good compared to these ones. These, unfortunately, are just normal variant. And yeah, everything is the same except the missile. So just ignore the skin cohort, absolutely, and get the javelins. You'll see it's worth. When you play Norsca, I'm sure you can skip these 2 units. These are the hounds, Norscan war hounds, and it's either poison or regulars. You can absolutely skip them. There is so many better options that will just do fine. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not needed. You don't need them, and there is multiple version of other units that will just outperform them. If you need something fast, if you need something stronger, absolutely. Norsca now, after the rework, has so many options. The Warhounds are definitely the weakest. Even Necromancer can kick them. Disappointment. For Nurgle, I didn't think about many choices, but these are definitely the one. Furies. Furies are so bad, especially for Nurgle, because, you know, they are supposed to be a glass cannon. So the Nurgle one are a little bit tougher, but you pay for their combat effectiveness even more, because they do nothing, absolutely nothing. And whatever I pick is way better than Furies. Literally, Nurglings will perform so much better than Furies. The flying doesn't really matter here. They cannot do anything. So skip them entirely, never even look at them. You will be disappointed with them. Absolutely worthless shit. Ogre Kingdom. These 2 units is something I would never recruit. Blood Vultures, the only flying unit from Ogre Kingdoms. And it's bad. It's bad. It's just not doing much. Because, okay, it does have some stats that doesn't suck. But overall, you cannot expect much from them. And unfortunately, the Giant. The Giant is just pointless to recruit. Because why you take it? For the wall breaker? Other units will do the same thing. And anti-infantry doesn't really apply here. Massive armor piercing. Okay, it does have some armor piercing, but I would recruit any kind of hero over the Giant in Ogre Kingdoms. And literally any other infantry, because it has potential. Of course, a giant will have some use. If you really want to have, you know, strong single entity that will bash different single entity, because you can heal it. But no. And Blood Vultures, yeah, I would rather pick any kind of infantry or even cavalry over them. So these two units, and if I compare these two, the Blood Vultures would be the pick not ever to pick, because I still see usefulness for Giant rather than Blood Vultures. Of course, you could try fight Archers. Yes, you could do this, but usually they get flanked or something and they die immediately. They never finish the Archers and you struggle with them anyway, while the cavalry will smash it. The collision, the charge bonus, everything will outperform them greatly. From Skaven, I couldn't pick which infantry is worse, so I picked the Wolf Rats. I hate Wolf Rats so much. And it's not because their combat potential, their stats are, most of their stats are okay. Like the normal wolf rats have a magic attack. They suffer on a weapon strength, while the poison have a way higher weapon strength. But there is something that really makes them unusable for me, and it's their leadership. Whenever I try to use them and you do something useful, they get routed immediately. Their leadership is almost non-existing. The base leadership is like 34. Non-existing in terms of usefulness for me, because they rout immediately, and then I need to pay attention and so much work for such a shit unit. I rather get something else and just use it normal. Because they have the leadership of Menace Below that literally routs immediately. And it pisses me off so much. I'd rather have one more Menace Below than these guys. From Slaanesh, I wouldn't bother to recruit the War Shrine. I really like the War Shrines. I found usefulness for them in almost any case. But in this situation, I wouldn't bother with recruiting them because the unit is weaker than a mount for a cultist. Getting cultists is not that difficult for Slaanesh. I mean, it's definitely tougher than it used to be because you had insane amount of cultists whenever you had a cult build up. But aside from that, the mount will perform better because you can give them speed, missile resistance, you can have a summons, literally anything. While this remains the same War Shrine. It does have a Mortis engine effect alike, the aura that does damage, but the cultist mount also have it. So this one is absolutely skippable, non-recruitable. Yeah, just get the cultist. For Tomb Kings, it's obvious. It's of course Carrion. Carrion is... it's the only flying unit recruitable, unless you have access to foul bats. But Carrion is... oh my god. In order to get the access to them, you need to get control building. Which some people like to build it. But no, the Carrion will absolutely get decimated by literally anything. Remember, it doesn't rout, it crumbles. And it's weak overall. Definitely not worth to recruit unless you want to replace it immediately. I would say literally anything will perform better. Of course, if you try to to attack artillery, you might have a chance unless something else attack it. If artillery is unprotected, then hell yeah, that's pretty much the only solution for you. I mean, the perfect case where you win against artillery. But there is a high chance you won't, because if there is anything that comes help, Carrion will just die, unfortunately. If you ever watched me before, you might know that from Tzeentch tier list, I literally hate Burning Chariot of Tzeentch. I made an extensive video where I explain why it's crap, so I'm not gonna deep dive in it, but I would pick literally anything over this unit. And it's a shame because I do love Flamers of Tzeentch, but this unit is a disgrace. It's a mistake. And I know people will disagree with that. It's fine. You can disagree with it. I don't care. Literally, I don't care. I hate this unit, period. I am not gonna change my mind whatsoever, because I tried. Oh, I tried really hard. So for Tzeentch, Burning Chariot of Tzeentch is literally the garbage of a roster unit. Pick any flamer. You will have much greater result. I will also know that not everyone will agree with me in terms of Vampire Coast. And it's of course the deck droppers for me. Deck droppers, all of them. All of them. None of them really matters. They're all squishy, they all die. They don't do much. It's a waste of a slot. Literally, whichever you pick, it's never gonna be good. Handgunners, bombers, anything. Just bloated corpse will be so much better choice than this. The only explanation why you should get it is when you res dead for your defense. And even that I would pick anything over this and this at the literally end. It doesn't have any value. And combat potential, the missile strength, the missile potential is terrible. The bombers, okay, the bombers could do if you blob it out and there is nobody who can shoot it down. It's good for blobs, but just no. Yeah, it's just the time when they drop it, the speed. Oh, it's so bad. Absolutely ignore it. You'll have a better time with literally anything. For vampire counts, there is a couple of examples. Units you should avoid. The basic skeletons, yeah, you can say they're better versus infantry, but spearmen are superior nonetheless. Of course, if you want to have a melee infantry that fights, it's fine. Felbats, oh my god, the Felbats are terrible. I hate Felbats in so many ways. They don't do much, okay? They are terrible. And the last unit is of course the Corpse Guard. The regular Corpse Guard. The only exception when you get it is at the start when you get option to raise the corpse and just get it, the resurrection, and just get it until your necromancer levels up. And any other corpse guard will be superior because it has the same stuff that corpse guard. So this corpse guard is pretty much obsolete. Because whatever you get, the Mortis, Vigor Mortis, any other corpse guard will get it. The necromancers you should have in literally every army. And they also have a Corpse Guard mount. If you care about Corpse Guard, get yourself a Necromancer. Don't recruit those. To be honest, you shouldn't recruit any. But the other variant, the Bellfire and the other one, understandably, you can get them if they're, you know, in your resurrection pool to get it, until your Necromancer leveled up. Then you just remove them. I'd say that's the best thing. So over Corpse Guard, I would literally get Necromancer and just pick something else. But yeah, these units, these 3 units would not perform well. Of course, the Hound, Direwolves, but in Vampire Counts, Direwolves can be useful sometimes, so I'm not, you know, putting them off the list. But definitely Corpse Guard is something you should absolutely avoid, and getting yourself a Necromancer, different Corpse Guard, will serve you well. And when it comes to Wood Elves, I don't know. There is a couple of units I don't really like to recruit, so I'm gonna show you from this perspective. The first are, of course, the Glade Raider Spear. The reason for that is they don't have anything great for them to use. Because you have Glade Raiders, the missile unit, ammunition 20, they perform great. Really? Because the combat potential is more or less the same. Okay, melee defense is different. And charge bonus, fine. But the damage the Glade Raiders will do with missile is superior compared to these guys. So these are the first one. The next one will be really controversial. But I really don't use Eternal Guard. I don't. How do you protect your archers? I don't. The Wood Elves, archers, protecting themselves, they shred everything. I love Wood Elves, don't get me wrong, this is one of my favorite races. But if I want to protect it, somehow, I don't use Eternal Guard. I don't. If I want to... Just know. I wanted to put the War Dancers as well. And Wildwood Rangers. In general, all melee humans, elves, infantry, for me, is absolutely useless in terms of armies. But I cannot do that. I mean, Wildwood Rangers, yeah. But War Dancers are one of my favorite defensive units, really. And the reason for that is obviously these abilities. So, as you know, whenever you're attacked by in the Wood Elf settlement, you don't have a wall settlement, so you do have a situation, and there is a forest situation, and there is a middle section where usually units shoot up to whatever it is. So what I do, I use War Dancers, I give them a Woven Mist activated, I put them in the trees. They get around 50... Usually in my campaigns they get at least 50% missile resistance. Then the trees are also present, so they don't get shot at all, pretty much. And that's how I waste AI ammo, because they're trying to kill these units. I mean, what else do you want? And when it comes to like fighting in melee, yeah, let's say you need to dish damage, then you use Storm of Blades. Just works. The regular War Dancers have the same trick. So, yeah, but they have Shadow Call, so they are more defensive. And if I would use somebody to defend, I think I would use War Dancers. I know these are they have charge reflection and everything, but no, I just don't use melee infantry when I play with archers. I don't need them. I don't. So, yeah. Especially when I go for, Way Watchers. They are invisible. They stalk and they shred everything. And of course, they're at some point when they start shooting, they're visible. But let's face it. These guys have 20 armor piercing. So, yeah, and with all the buffs and everything, they move while shooting. No, they don't need melee infantry to defend them. That's where you use heroes and lords, while the archers obliterate everything. To be completely honest, the melee infantry and cavalry are the units I use the least, but some of the cav are okay, good, and the Glade Raiders definitely weak. And Eternal Guard, if you don't use it to protect archers, you don't need it at all, because what the fuck for? But of course, that's my list, that's my perspective, that's my gameplay. I just play Wood Elves as I want, since I love them. And that's it. That's my entire list. Like I said, you may disagree. It's completely fine. I love all about this game that we can have a different playstyle and enjoy it still. But of course, feel free to correct me if you think I did something wrong. And of course, subscribe if you want to help me. That would be absolutely awesome. In the meantime, thank you for watching. You're awesome if you lasted that long. Take care, and bye-bye.